Welcome back to the channel, and today we are getting an early look at the upcoming Trailmakers 1.7.4 update that brings us this fancy little block behind me. There's 4 of them connected together, all different colors, which it seems like the intended use is for some pod racing. However, there's gonna be some crazy uses on the workshop for this. I can already tell, I can already see some crazy ideas on how these things function, but that's not the only part of the update. We're definitely gonna be getting to the details of these and experimenting with them just to see like what's capable, what they're really capable of. But there's a lot of other stuff going on in this update too, mainly a lot of visual overhauling. So even as I open up my inventory, if you look down here, things like the steering hinge and the gyros, everything like this stuff, everything has a bit of a different vibe to it, a bit of a different look to it. And basically what they've done is they've made all of the pieces more compatible with painting. So even like, check out these grid blocks. The grid blocks have gone over under like a really big overhaul. So the grid blocks, you used to not be able to paint them at all. But now, pretty much everything is going to be subject to your paint themes when you're not going to have those weird looking parts. So like the wing pieces, like check out the modular wings now. So if you had like a glowing texture or a glowing color, the wing pieces wouldn't glow, but now they're going to glow with your aircraft. You know, it actually probably better if I spawn in one of my recent builds. Here, let's see what this helicopter looks like now. So things like these engines and stuff all have new paint options. So I'm just gonna highlight it and we're gonna make this thing glow. There we go. So actually, let me even make it glow more by choosing both colors. Yeah, so getting this amount of color on this thing would not have been possible before. So basically, it's just gonna be a whole lot easier. Like even the pipes, these pipes used to not glow or go along with the textures. So it's gonna be a whole lot easier to essentially make your build more uniformly colored and textured. Oh yeah, oh, this is great. The chrome being applied to the tubes, that's gonna be so good for visuals if you can actually make the tubes chrome now. That bothered me before. It doesn't look like every single texture applies to every single thing. You can see that as I cycle through, only sometimes do those special parts actually change along with the texture. So it seems like the glowing, the chrome, the glass, the standard, and the clean. Everything else has some exceptions still. Ooh, this looks really cool. These wing pieces now, I've never seen the wing piece look like this. That's awesome. I like that. All right, so as far as I can tell, other than the power coupling thing, I think that's the only new thing with the update. Oh, look at the weight block. This is cool. That actually, I forgot that the weight block was actually one of the things that affected me the most. Oh, you can see when you highlight just that block, these are the 4 types of textures that it'll adopt. Oh, actually, this is not what I was expecting. The whole thing is still gray at its core, but the 2 colors we have are these stripes and then the connection attachments. Interesting. That's not what I was expecting. So this one will still, it'll just be gray. And then what about this weight block here? What is the secondary color on this one? I don't think the secondary color really affects this one as much. Oh man, all of these things, like the pontoons, everything has a huge visual overhaul. Even like logic gates look a lot more like just easier to see. The face is just a lot more contrast on the face. All right, but now let's get to the real meat and potatoes, which is under the mechanic tab. Scroll all the way to the right. We've got power coupling. It is a flexible electric connection between blocks. So what it looks like when I spawn it in is this right here. Now I have my default secondary color as black right now. So if I change it to red, the secondary color changes the color of your electric connector. Ooh, purple looks kind of cool. Oh, actually pink looks really good. Wow. Yeah, black is weird. Go through all the colors. Yeah, green's looking pretty cool. The red, yellow is also, you know, electricity. Yellow, probably blue. All right, there's some cool stuff there. So I wonder if I can find a pod racer. I know I've done pod racer stuff before. If I could like revamp an old pod racer to add these in, would be awesome. Because I want to see how like there's settings. So here's where I think I'm gonna open up the settings now, and you're gonna probably instantly see some of the possibilities that I'm seeing with these. So here we go. In the settings, we have a toggle. So basically, or a button that you can set the toggle or not. So basically what this allows, if I add a seat onto this, I can essentially turn it on and off, which will have some pretty cool effects for some pretty cool visuals on certain things. But more importantly, you can hide things. So I can hide part 1 and 2. So now the connecting points, those little connecting circles, you can hide those. And what's even crazier, you can change the beam opacity. So look at this. I can have it be really subtle. I can have it be really strong, or I can have it be invisible. And this right here is where I think it's going to change the game for aesthetics and the types of builds you're going to see in this game, because we now have invisible connectors, which means you can have parts that appear to be hovering away from your vehicle, but still attached. Not only hovering, but attached with a certain level of stiffness. So this is kind of like a suspension, which I actually want to see. Let's do a quick test on how that even feels. Let's just have 4 of them, and let's just spawn in. All right, so it doesn't really do anything there. Now let's put the stiffness way down. Let's see what happens. Okay, oh, now you can see it's like flexing a little bit. That's 0 stiffness. Interesting. I wonder how many blocks is that the equivalent of? Let's add some more weight to this thing. There we go. Add a 50 kilogram weight to either side. Oh my good. Oh, ooh, this is interesting. This isn't quite like suspension. It seems to have a more lateral flexibility. Rather than just compressing in the direction that it's built, it can also bend outside of that axis. It looks like a sad, like, horse with glowing legs that is collapsed. All right, I have to find my pod racer. It's gonna be a journey to search through all these blueprints. I don't know how long ago was pod racing. Oh, I found it. I found it. Oh, here it is. So one thing I don't know how to do is the angular attachment. So I use suspension here. So the easy one is gonna be this one. So I'm just gonna go ahead and delete all of these. Man, this pod racer also kind of looks different, doesn't it? I like this pod racer. I like the visuals of this thing. I hope this is the right distance. Oh no, it's not the right distance. So I can't fit another one in here. So I'm wondering, it looks like a 4x1. I'm wondering if we're gonna have eventually the ability to have maybe like smaller versions of this, or, I mean, larger you don't need, but smaller would be nice. All right, so what I can do is move that, and then I can just add another pipe piece as a connection on either side. All right, so now with this middle one here, I can go ahead and hide the parts, and then hide on the end of this one, and then hide on the end of this one. And now we've got a connector like that all the way through. And then if I highlight all 3 of them and change the secondary color. Ooh, the orange looks nice. I kind of like the orange. All right, but how do I do this? I see they have a trailer out. You can go ahead and check out the trailer on their YouTube channel, and they have angled ones. Maybe it's like, you probably got to use a piston style. Let me see if I can do this. So what I would need to do is put a steering hinge on 0 strength, and then take a couple of these. I'll just copy and paste this to keep the settings. It'll be invisible as well. And then build it out to here. That looks good. And then put another steering hinge, 0 strength on this end. All right, then I'm gonna have it come out from here. So then I need a piston. Piston. All right, so the piston isn't quite reaching. So I need to make it reach. And I need to set it to start position 0. No controls on this thing. All right, I'm gonna need to do a little bit of redesigning here to fit this in, because it wasn't built with these dimensions in mind. But if I do that, and then I do that, we now have a connection point. That looks kind of cool. So then I just need to copy and paste this to the other side. All right, this should work. Boop. Yeah. So now when I spawn it in, the pistons did not contract. All right, now, there we go. I wish it was a little bit more. Let me actually see if I can figure this out. I need 2 pistons worth of contraction. All right, that better? Ah, that is so much better. All right, how does this thing even work? Here, let's go back to land. All right, here we go. Look at this. This is so good. I mean, it's not the greatest performing, but visually, it's so good. All right, maybe I should have made the stiff. Hold on a second. I need to change the stiffness of the steering hinges. Ooh, that makes it kind of interesting, doesn't it? It creates like a flexion. All right, now let me change the, what do you call it? The stiffness of these. So I'm gonna change the stiffness all the way down to 0. Let's see how different it feels now. Oh, not good. Not good. Now the middle ones, look how everything, whoa, they're so flexible. Oh, you could loop them. Whoa, this is very different than suspension. Whoa, this is not, I was initially thinking that these were essentially suspension pieces where the flexible part just got visually redone as this electrical thing, but the suspension is not capable of this. Bending in a circle and looping back on itself like that? No, these are gonna allow for things we've never been able to do before. This is craziness. I am so looking forward to doing a workshop video on these things. You guys gotta let me know in the comments what you think could happen with these as well. So, let's turn just these middle ones. Let's put these back on full stiffness, and let's keep the side ones on minimum stiffness. Let's just see what this feels like. Oh boy. So this is weird. I have my steering controls in my cockpit, which is not ideal for this, the way that this is now set up. It worked for my original thing, but the steering should come from, they should essentially come from the pods. I think even in like the pod racing games, essentially steering is putting one pod on full power and drawing down the power on the other pod to turn left and right, and potentially adding some air braking, you know, things like that. So this is not an ideal pod racer for the way that these are set up. But I think if I put the stiffness back up, it should be good. All right, yeah, this is interesting. All right, so now things can get even more interesting. Let's slow down here as much as I can. So let's go ahead and we'll hide all of the parts, and we will turn the beam opacity down completely. So now we can get a little bit of a taste of what things are gonna end up looking like for some creations. Like, stuff like this is instantly possible, where we just have separate pieces that aren't really separate, but they look separate. And then, I can actually, you don't even need a beam opacity thing. You can just turn them on and off too. One thing I would recommend for building's sake is, even when they are turned opacity all the way down, I really feel like there should be some type of visual indicator in the build mode that there's something there, like a ghost version of it or something, because I feel like you could lose them. You could probably actually just lose them if you have a really complex build. Well, let's turn beam opacity on, and let's set toggle to number 1. So now we've got this. So another option that we're missing compared to some similar items is we don't have off by default setting. So if we want this to spawn in and be that they're not on, that's not an option that we have right now. So if the devs are watching, probably going to be something people are going to want. Dude, the turning on and off, it actually looks so good. I don't know why it looks so good. It's just like the way it fades is super cool. That's awesome. Okay, so now let's try to use these things the way that they're clearly not intended to be used, because pod racing is obviously what they're really intended to be used for. But this is my channel, and I get to do things my way. You know what I'm just realizing? Like, one of the most basic things you could do with this is just a hovering platform. So if I do a little bit of this. All right, there we go. I got some anchor blocks attached to these things. Gonna go ahead and hide all the parts, turn the beam opacity down, and now look at that, floating platform. But let's, how does the floating platform feel when stiffness is all the way down? Little bit of movement. I don't think it's heavy enough for 4 of them. So let's add a weight block right to the center. A couple of weight blocks. Interesting. Not the effect of, wait, did the stiffness really go down? It did. Okay. Let's offset the weight then. Surprisingly, not a lot happening. However, if we double up, so they're stacked. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Okay, look at it, look at it, look at it. It's collapsing. It's collapsing. It's gonna go crazy again, isn't it? Oh, maybe not. This is weird. This is really weird. Okay, I kind of want to see it. I want to see what's going on now. Turn the beam opacity up. We need a better color. There we go. What's going on? Oh, it's so different. Wow. There's gonna be some wacky creations with this. All right, so considering I thought they were kind of just like suspension, they're clearly not the way that they bend, but because I thought they were, let's try to use them as suspension. All right, I got a big old rover here. This thing does have suspension. Oh, this is actually gonna be a little bit harder to do than I was anticipating because these don't have a sideways attachment point like these suspensions do, and they are twice the length of these suspensions. So gonna have to build it up into here. Let's see if this is possible. All right, definitely gonna have to make some modifications for this. So I'm gonna do, it's sticking out here. This is where I can only, oh wait, it's actually, oh, never mind. It doesn't have to be there. Okay. So we can fill in that block there, fill that in over here. All right, this is gonna be, there's gonna be a little bit of process to get the suspension in here, but we're gonna get it in here. All right, I think I nailed it. Look at that, you can see them in there. Here, let's make them brighter. I gotta change my color scheme. All right, so this is just default. My wheels are lower than they usually are. Oh, I should have drove this thing around the way it normally is first. Oh, oh. All right, here, let's just save this as, there we go, save. And then in my history, do I have the other, is this the other one? All right, here's the old one. So this one's a little bit lower to the ground because the suspension is just less. So this is how this one drives. This was built for like lower gravity, by the way, just so you guys know. So it drives pretty terrible, but you can clearly see how the suspension was designed to work. Just like that, right? Here, we need like a little bit of an off-road testing ground. Can we even drive up this thing? Let's find out. All right, not too bad. Actually, this side's probably better. Let's try this. So let's ignore that. Try that again. All right, that felt pretty good. Let's reverse back down it. Now we spawn in the new version. This is on full stiffness now. Oh, this is weird. Wow, this is so weird. The lateral flexibility of these makes them completely unsuitable as wheels. But, I mean, it's not like it's not working, though. That's just so weird. Look at that. It's so weird. This is just only one. They're not stacked suspension. There's only one. It kind of works, though, doesn't it? This is on full stiffness, though. Wow. Man, I can, like, there's got to be a whole bunch of ideas of uses of just what we just saw that we're going to end up seeing really creative ways of using these things. All right, I'm going to turn the stiffness down. Let's go half before we go down to 0. Oh no. Even at half, they're useless. I mean, this is 1,000 kilograms of weight on this thing, so we got that. All right, let's just go down to 0. So as you can see, these are much more complex parts than just raw suspension. They flex in many, many, many different ways, many additional ways that suspension does not. It's amazing though. This is so cool. All right, so remember this thing? I created a one rocket thing that it just controls all of its directions using a single rocket. Well, I got some ideas. Like, so we could 1, 2, 3, 4. We could use these to create some interesting, like I want to try the floating thing now. Now, one thing I think would really be useful for detailed builds, especially people who like to build smaller builds with a lot of detail. I really think we're gonna need a 2x1 version of these because this is just a lot of space to have to commit to. But if we had like a 2x1 that was just half this distance, I think that's going to serve a lot of purposes for a lot of people. So I'm just throwing that out there. So I just do this and then turn beam opacity, hide the parts. And now we've got this going on. Is that cool or what? Oh, actually, it could look even cooler. We're not even taking full advantage. Oh, well, hold on. So there is an attachment point there. But what I want to do is like, so that these doesn't look like just a block hanging out in space. I want it to look like it has some type of attachment, right? Or not attachment, but some type of, not flat. We need a wedge. We need wedges is what I'm saying. Yeah, so the only issue is that like this has to attach to it somewhere. Maybe we swap sides like that. There we go. I just think that looks a little bit more like they should be floating rather than just awkwardly floating and not making sense. Because I feel like it makes more sense. So the amount of like futuristic stuff and alien stuff that we're going to be seeing with the floating connections, I can just, it's just going to be insane. We've leveled up aesthetics on the workshop. All right, so there's one more obvious thing that I have to do, and that is we got to push it to a limit now. So let's go ahead and build an anchor. We are going to add a rotating servo and a square block just like that. And now I'm going to go ahead and take the power coupling. I wonder how much complexity these things have. We're going to find out. All right, so now let's do a little bit of this. We're not done yet. We're not, don't worry, because then I want to do a little bit of this. All right, I'm actually surprised we haven't reached, I don't know how complex these things are. A little bit of this. Oh, we're at 500 now. Okay, so now I can see if I just add one. 500. Only 5 complexity? I'm actually surprised. How much is a, okay, suspension. Okay, it's the same complexity as suspension. Not as complex as wheels, though. All right, there we go. 660. Close enough. Oh, wait, this thing needs... Oh, look at it go! Oh, that's so cool. I need to put a seat on this thing, though. Gonna put this up to max speed. All right, ready? Go! I'm trying to turn it right now. Oh, it didn't... The settings didn't take hold. I said... Yeah, hold position, infinity. All right, ready? And go! Wait, did we break? Our anchor broke. Come on, anchor. Stay strong, anchor. Wait, where's our anchor? All right, hold! Whoa! Okay, so it broke, which makes sense. So look at what... This is crazy. This is gonna be arms. Someone's gonna use this for arms. Like, the movement is so, like, it feels so organic. It doesn't feel robotic, you know? The way that it flexes and bends. Look at this. I'm totally slapping. I'm slapping people all over the place. Like, you're gonna approach me? You're gonna approach me? Oh, wow. This is great. Hold on. This thing needs one more little addition. There we go. Whoa! Oh, we did something. Oh, we did something. I knew we were gonna break it somehow. All right, there we go. Look at him. Look at him. He's very slap happy. We found the stable amount of power couplers. This is great. We're doing a dance. Look at this dance. All right, I'm gonna turn the stiffness all the way down now, just because I gotta see A/B test this. All right, stiffness down to 0. Whoa, they went through the ground. Whoa, the way they wrap is so cool. All right, I'm honestly surprised that other one is not breaking. Whoa! Scribbles! We created scribbles. Oh, look at this. This is not, we're not supposed to be able to see this stuff in Trailmakers. This is, oh. I had to break it somehow. I had to push it to its limit. This is great. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's getting bigger. Is my game gonna crash? You think my game's gonna crash? Probably not. It seems, I'm not even lagging or anything. So tell me, what are your top 3, what do you think of the top 3 things this could be useful for? Top 3 creative ideas. Maybe I'll find some inspiration for some dedicated videos on some crazy types of creations. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, because this changed the game. This has changed the game completely. We're gonna see some very different aesthetics now. So unfortunately, I don't actually know exactly when this update is going to be available to everybody. Right now, the notes say to be determined for the release date, but hopefully, I mean, because the fact that I have access to it now, I think says it's probably not too far off, but I don't know exactly when. At least now you know what to look forward to. So if you guys enjoyed this episode, you'll probably enjoy some more that you can find right here on the end screen. Hope this video has earned your subscription. Anyway, this has been ScrapMan, and I'll see you next time. Bye.